It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like, subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
Well, that came out kind of odd, didn't it?
That was the weirdest intro we've ever had. So
A little bit of, I don't know, problems with YouTube, but that's okay. We don't care. We're moving on.
Oh, I thought that was us.
No, not y'all. All right. Well, big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music, if you're listening on the audio side, and our featured patrons, Billy Robson, Fox and the Hound, TX Wolf Totem, K-Blast, Statuki, Burns Fire, Hockey Zombie, Ship to Shore, A. Holly S., Geodandrew, and our new patrons, Atreides 78723, who just finished the Texas County Challenge. Congratulations.
Wow.
Yep. So congratulations to him for completing that and getting his name on that log, which is it's a task for sure. Tick Magnet, log work. Mika Put, I think I got it right. I got it in the notes as what he told me, and I got to listen to it and so it's Mika Put and TT 02. If you'd like to become a patron, you can click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or you can head on over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I think it's cool. Y'all get y'all's. I know. Other geocaching items during the year, well as bonus content, invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. Let me welcome my co-host Jesse.
Good evening, and everybody knows this is my favorite topic ever, so this is going to be good. No, just kidding. And I actually brought out 2 coins that are the theme of tonight that I remember that I had. This one,
Oh, sweet.
I'm sure we'll get to later tonight. That's the Earthcache Master coin.
Nice.
And this one. Hold on.
Ooh.
That is from the Earthcache Mega that I attended.
Oh, that's right.
Well, see, I'm a good sport.
In Colorado.
Yeah, it was here.
That's right.
I'm a good sport. I still play along. So
Well, we'll
maybe
see.
I'll get remotivated tonight. That's the new plan.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that you might be a big fan, but I actually went to an Earthcache today. That's what I'm at an Earthcache right now, as you can see. So
If I'm watching you, does that mean I can log it too?
yeah, you can log it. Oh wait, no, you can't. You got to be here.
There's
log
no
this
sign.
Yeah, you can't armchair cache this one.
Oh, come on.
You got to be at this waterfall. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Can you hear it too? I can hear the. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah.
We haven't got to the sound effects level too good yet on our show, so maybe for another show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will. Let's talk about our sponsor real quick, if you will. Our sponsor tonight is Cachly. Cachly, the foremost geocaching app for the iOS version of smartphones. Cachly is the go-to app. Would you not agree, Jesse?
Yeah. So, in fact, I was over at my buddy's house. Probably somebody that our audience will get acquainted with on a future Geocache Talk Presents show. But he's the one, when I say I went on a crazy trip, it's that guy. So
Right.
We were over brainstorming something that I can't talk about yet, but some of it was Mingo related. Some of it was just another crazy trip. And he's a Droid guy, and I'm an iOS guy. And so we were planning a couple of trips coming up, and he kept repeatedly, he goes, dang it, I need Cachly. Dang it. He goes, I can't do that over here. So Droid has, whichever one he had on the Droid, he has a thing where you can send in suggestions. So he put in like 2 or 3 suggestions, and he goes, what will that do? How do I phrase that? Because I want this one to do that too. And I was like, sorry, you should have had Cashly. It does all that stuff. So, if I wasn't an iPhone user, I would have to become an iPhone user because I could not cache without it.
No, I can't either.
So much, and for another show, of course. But Nick keeps adding more cool stuff to it, and it's not making you rebuy it or anything like that. So
no, he does provide opportunities. I've given him a tip, for the thing, and also I bought the premium maps, which is like $3. You get all the maps. You get all the maps.
Yeah, and family sharing. You know that, right?
Genius.
So, like,
really?
My youngest daughter is now in the age range that she can have a phone,
right?
And I didn't have to rebuy it. She already had it. She shares it with the family. It's part of the family that he's got that turned on, so a family can share the share the app. So I mean, it's already the best value out there. So
absolutely.
I don't know why he's not charging. He could charge at least double for that thing, easy, and not slow anything down. So I mean, absolutely. Don't do it, but he could.
Yeah.
Do not send hate mail in to Jesse for
there you go.
Charge double, but it'd still be worth it. Come on, it still would be less than a fancy Starbucks drink. So
absolutely. It's well worth it. Yeah. If you're on iOS, it's definitely the way to go. It really is. It's cheap. I mean, you use it forever. I mean, that's got to be the best investment you could make in a geocaching app.
Yeah, I would be really sad if for some reason I did not have access to it anymore.
No,
I would not geocaching.
I would not be happy.
No.
All right, well, let's jump right into show 185. Got a lot to talk about. We welcome back to the Geocache Talk Show Dave and Karen of Cache Canada.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. We last got to see you at Podcast of Hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun where we answered a lot of with Joshua. We got to answer some Canadian. You got to answer U.S. questions and
that was fun.
Answered Canada questions. It was great. So much fun. I do also want to mention Arted Craft is working on a shirt that's related to Podcast of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get with them though. They're in the process of making a shirt, but we got to make sure that we get the right information created on the shirt because we didn't think about it. Fortunately, Jesse caught it. It's like we may have to make some tweaks to it for copyright reasons.
Right? Yeah, and he's they're wanting to raise some more additional money for Podcast, which is awesome.
Yeah,
we want to make sure we do everything the right way and follow all laws and all that fun stuff. So
yep. So we're gonna review it, and we'll get back to everybody with links and the shirts once we've got them set properly. So
absolutely, anything we can do to raise more money for St. Jude, we're all about it. So
absolutely. So don't forget of all the megas. There's several megas coming up. Yuma was last week. Texas Challenge is coming up in March.
Mm-hmm.
Mingo's in May. And then the sort of mega season kind of begins, and you've got all the ones in August and up in Seattle area, Geo Woodstock, etc. As we mentioned before, we'll mention it real fast. Is just don't forget that the swag is what typically will help fund the expenses that are put out. LNA is another one, right? When's it? Y'all know when LNA is?
It's August.
Is it August? Okay.
Actually, it's the same day as the Seattle event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of the fall megas. Going caching is a fall mega.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several from there. So
it's either the same day as the Seattle or the same day as Woodstock. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
And somebody said Midwest Geobash is in July.
Midwest Geobash, that's another good one.
There's a bunch of them out there right now.
West Bend, Cache
you
Bash.
really want to go to that one.
That's always a good one. So just everybody remember that's now that we've Jesse and I've kind of seen the financial side of things. It's like and as we said before, and I know Ryan's mentioned it in the Coin Fest. That's another good one. Thanks, Ryan.
Of course, is ASP.
ASP, yeah. ASP is a good one. Yeah, thanks.
LNA is the same day as Geo Woodstock, it says.
Yep. Thank you, Thanks, Wet Coaster. That's good
So
to
even
know.
if I took a year off to attend all the mega events, I couldn't do it because some of them are on the same day. That's not fair.
Yeah. Oh, UDAC. She mentioned loved your recent vid on the intro to ALC's Cache Canada. So
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate. We really liked doing that one. Took a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Still a lot of work, but those are sometimes the fun ones. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Other news. Let's see. I've got a note here. There's some breaking news. HQ has announced that they are grandfathering Earthcaches. What?
Yeah, the icon type is gone. It's no more.
Wow. Yeah, they're gone now.
Yeah.
What?
Today was the last day for
I'm
them.
sorry. well, thanks a lot for you guys being on tonight. That was a lot of fun. So let's see. Let me find.
That's a short show. Oh well, it's over now.
I'm trying to find it real quick.
So close.
Oh my gosh! And then you've got so much stuff in here now. I can't do the quick. Where was it? You've ruined it. Now here it is.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as
It's over.
See ya.
I found it. No, that's the
Okay, I may have put that in there.
the
That's
geocache.
probably not true.
That's the geocaching imp that is inside of Jesse.
I don't know how that news. I must have read that wrong on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, you must have read that wrong because we're good with that. So
Yeah.
all right. So in fact, the first note in our talking about Earth caches is don't hate Earth caches, embrace them. So I guess let's start with that. You two, what podcast of no hope? I love that. So what? Why should we embrace the Earth cache?
Yeah, because of that. Look at that background. I mean, geocaching, any geocache you do will take you to some awesome places. But when you look at Earth caches, and that's when we travel, I will always look at the photo album and I'll look and I go, well, that one's okay. It's like, but then it's like, wow, look at that. It's like, man, we got to go there. So, Earth cache rock. See, Arnie. Yeah, there you go. That's our buddy Liz Downey. He was on our episode when we went down the Credit River doing that Earth cache. It was a 3, 4.5. We did that.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Karen.
They take you to places that you wouldn't necessarily know about otherwise. So, we get to see some fantastic sites that we wouldn't otherwise go to.
Which other geocaches and say virtuals do too. So what makes it Earth cache different? But it's just the learning.
There's no virtuals in a cave. So.
No. Yeah. Well,
right.
It could be.
Well, it could be.
And we talked about this before. And one of the things, like, we were exposed to Earth caches very early. We started in April of 2012, and we had a trip to Calgary and Banff National Park that July. So I knew we were going out of province, and I knew, this has got to be something with geocaching. You have to cache in more places. I didn't know all that stuff yet, but I kind of had an inkling that's what it was about. So I looked into it. But where we were going, there were not a lot of physical caches. There were just Earth caches. So that's what we had to do mainly for the 2 weeks we were in Alberta and British Columbia with Earth caches. So we learned from that the places that you can go and what they're like. Some of them, one of them infuriated me to no end. I didn't want to do another Earth cache for the rest of my life.
It was very technical, and the math was really precise.
It was a crooked river, and you had to straighten the river out, and the distance and the depth of the river, and how many loonies would get eroded each day. And I was like, oh my God. I sent in what answers I could, and then the CEO coached me because, you're almost there. And I'm like, please, you're killing me. So some of them are way too difficult, but they don't have to be.
Right.
A lot of fun.
Well, as I was grabbing some of your photos for this week for social media to promote tonight's show, and I had found a picture, and the caption on it said that it was a Earth cache DNF, and I'm like,
Yep.
You two DNF'd an Earth cache.
We DNF'd Earth cache. Well, we found the Earth cache portion of it, but there was a physical component to this thing. You had to find this green box. I think it was an instrument box, so we couldn't find it to save our lives. And then I looked afterwards. The thing was huge. It was like a refrigerator, and we couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it.
Just weren't in the right spot.
But ask Cash the Line. He found it a few weeks before we did, but he said it was really hard to find. And so I don't know. We have to go back because we did.
Go back.
Yeah, we could do everything, but we could not answer that one question.
Yeah. The place. It was beautiful, a beautiful waterfall area.
Yeah, who would think that you could DNF an Earth cache?
I know.
You know, that actually does happen because sometimes you do get the answers wrong and they will not accept anything but the right answer.
Yep. Yeah. We did one in Paris, France, was the Cathedral to Notre Dame. It was raining. We were tired. We weren't jet lagged. We'd already been in Europe for a few days, but we were with our son, and we had gone from Belgium to Paris, and it was raining. It was just a kind of a gray day, and we needed to find a fossil in the column. We just couldn't find it. We're just looking and just couldn't find it. Fine, I'll just take a picture, and then that's that. When we got home, I decided that's when I'm going to log this Earth cache, jet lagged. So I was really tired. I was not. And then I just thought, I had 6 questions. I couldn't get any of them. I thought, I don't know, this is fine here. Boom. And I logged the cache, put the picture in. And then about 2 weeks later, I get an email. I said, I have to delete your log. I go, oh, yeah, so whatever. I didn't get, I didn't answer half the questions. And then he said, but the fossil that you needed to find was in the picture. And I'm like, really?
We didn't notice.
I couldn't even look at the picture because the guy deleted the log, and I had already deleted the picture. So I still don't know where that thing is.
Still don't know where it is. After all that,
he coached me on it, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm looking at the questions weeks later, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. But there was one question about the stone that was in the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and it said there's the similar stone was in a building or a structure in Africa, and I'm like, God, I don't know any kind of cathedrals in Africa. I'm like, what? But then it finally dawned on me. He said, oh, the pyramids.
oh,
The same stone is in the pyramids, and I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. But I never thought of it. Yeah.
make the
So I
connection.
ended up logging. We ended up getting that Earth cache just minus the picture. Didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea one day if they could add some kind of geochecker, obviously not a geochecker, but one of those certitude type things to the Earth cache, so instantly if you get your answer right, like a puzzle checker.
Yeah.
That would be a nice addition to the Earth cache type.
Especially
We're
when
not going on a trip, send it in later, and find out, oh, I missed one step, and then I don't get to ever get back there again.
No, I bet you could just add that on your own.
Probably. I'm sure there's a way to do it, and I'm sure our chat room in 5 seconds could figure it out. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I know some of those have like certitude, or one of the other ones you could type in an answer instead of a coordinates, I believe.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. It'd be a nice addition to the Earth cache, maybe.
Yeah. It's something that as we keep working on through tonight's notes, Earth cache is Susan's favorite. But she's the kind that loves, photographing nature. And so I'm thinking maybe that the geocachers out there who do like to, the photography side, just because it's not a bison in a tree. Usually an Earth cache has some really nice, it's usually like this. I mean,
yeah,
not always. I've been to some that I'm kind of like, wow, that was exciting, but you're going to get that. I mean, there's no perfect, Certitude also has a multi-stage as well. That's interesting. Huh. Okay.
But and since we have Earth cache people on, we might as well ask the question, right? Right now, the rules say that they have to email in the answers through the profile or whatever. I wonder if HQ would accept that as another way to answer it. I have to ask them, I guess.
Yeah.
They could build it into the rules, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think right now that if you didn't answer the email that they would be very happy with it. So
yeah.
Yeah, you can word your Earth caches now where you you can just go ahead and log it, and you're only going to hear from the CO if there's something wrong, right?
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, we'll bring it up next week.
unless they specifically say don't log until it's whatever you
They
hear.
do, yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
do. I have 6 earth caches out, and it's basically go ahead and log it, and if I see a problem, I'll let you know.
Right. Yeah, we're Brian Roth will be on the show next week. So if people do have, what's that?
I said, we'll just ask him.
We can just ask him. Yeah. So as you mentioned, you have you said you had 6. Y'all two have 6.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I have 1. Jesse?
Got one.
I don't know.
1 earth cache.
That I've put out 20
Yeah.
or so.
Wow,
About
that's
20?
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse put one out, and I adopted it from him because there's not really one in my area that I could. And that's something it's not really for tonight, but I have a real hard time with. And again, I can understand it. We don't have a lot of geology that we can really see, in Hunt County. Jesse, you've obviously got more geology in your areas.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled in Colorado, right? I mean,
Yeah.
geological features everywhere you throw a rock. So
Yeah, throw a rock, you hit an earth cache up there. I mean, not quite, because they, but still, that is still interesting. That the photography aspect, again, I think is really nice. That people take great photos at these places. I think it really does add a characteristic to earth caches, the fact that you kind of get both worlds. You get that, and we've talked about before where, what makes a great cache, a traditional cache. One is the container, and sometimes it's where you are. And
Right.
so obviously for earth caches, it's where you are. So what were you going to say, Jesse?
Yeah, location. I mean, obviously if an earth cache, there's no container, just like a virtual or whatever else, or webcam. So you really have to have a good one. You need to have a good experience and a good location, I think. And just like the one you're talking about where you have to find something there or do some measurements, I think those can be done and make them a lot of fun, right?
Right.
Like there's really good and really bad of every cache type. There's even some bad Where-I-Goes out there.
Oh my gosh.
But
wait,
there is a few.
Pull the audio on that.
Yeah. But walking up to somewhere and reading off of a sign, that's not the most fun in the world. But there's some really, and y'all have been to a bunch of them, but there's some really interesting, elaborate earth caches out there. I think it's up to the cache owner, right? Whoever puts it out can put out some really good ones.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned about the chat room. I'm not sure anyone is using this chat room. I think they are, because we're showing it right now. Yeah, because you got to remember, we got.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, could you have? Oh, Tom, that's a good question.
That's a good one for our earth cache experts on the show.
Yeah, I don't see why not. The one that we did that we couldn't find the box, but that a lot of people got upset about that. But that was what they did. I was okay with it. I couldn't find it. That's no big deal. But I think, Tom, that's a great idea. If you had measuring tools, because a lot of earth caches will do. You need to measure water quantity. So if you had a measuring device, and if you had strings and bobbles, you could measure the flow rate and pH strips. Oh, you could do all kinds of things. That's
Instead of throwing a stick in.
Yeah.
Right. Throw a stick in the water and tell me no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've come across a couple of those out there where, maybe clinometer, is that right? Where you have to measure some kind of thing. I don't know. They were giving them away at the Earth Cache Mega event, and I got it on the shelf over there. I had no idea how to use it, but there was an Earth Cache that I came across that you were supposed to use it. Luckily, I was in a group with somebody much smarter than me, and they figured it out. But you don't see those all the time, though. I don't think.
No. I like that Todd Owen mentioned about having litmus tests for salinity of water. That's really cool.
So you could have coordinates, auxiliary coordinates for the box itself, like an ammo can with the equipment that you need hidden away somewhere.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That really adds, I think, really does add to the experience.
Yeah.
And
That tends to be less allowed now, though, right? Anything related to water and river, it's more rocks that they're allowing to be published nowadays.
Yeah, they're starting to crack down on confluence rivers, and
Right.
you can't do erratics anymore, I don't believe.
okay.
You know, if you have a big rock sitting somewhere, you know what? That just they don't want them anymore. There's too
They
many.
don't want those. I know they don't let you do like down here. A lot of our courthouses are built with different type of
Fossils.
stone, and they don't. I've tried that. They don't let you anymore
Really? Huh.
talk about the stone that's in a courthouse. So
Because we've done quite a few of
Yeah.
that very thing.
Yep.
right.
And they'll still allow that here in Ontario,
Oh, do they? Well,
as far as I know. Yeah.
I guess it depends on who you get. I know maybe people don't know, but you do have different reviewers for Earthcaches than your regular traditional cache reviewers. It goes to a different group.
Oh. Ian Langle says you can still do glacial erratics with specific limitations.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
And I think that's the thing that is the entry barrier for a lot of people with earth caching is they get intimidated by some of the terms that are so different than everything else in geocaching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, glacial erratics. That doesn't come up a lot in regular geocaching. So,
Yeah.
Right.
People are like, yeah, I don't know what that is. I may move on to the next one, but they're generally, if I understand right, they're generally supposed to explain everything on the cache page that you would need to know. Right? Like you don't need a geology degree to go do this. You should be able to see exactly what to do step by step on the cache page.
Right. And a lot of it has to do with your observations that you see either picking up the ground or what you see in front of you based on the information that they provided.
Right. Yeah. Even if the tasks are difficult, you shouldn't have to have a lot of background knowledge to be able to do it.
No.
And a lot of the cache pages are very in depth with the information, and you can scour through the page and go, oh, okay, that's this, and organize it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know when I show up, the first thing I do is like scroll all the way to the bottom, look at the questions and go, is it something I can understand, or do I have to read through the 8 pages that's on here?
Yeah.
I got to go back up here and read it.
But you really learn a lot that way, because then after you've done 2 or 3 of the same type, you start to learn the names and the terminology of various things.
Yeah, I've started to see some earth caches go, oh, I've seen this. This is from this earth cache. They just copied the information.
Copy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that. I don't know who would do something like that.
You'd almost build a template, couldn't you?
You could almost do
Jesse?
a template and copy it several times every time you came across something.
Could have crossed.
Nobody would do that.
Well, if it's similar.
Earth caches are not about trees. They're not about plants. They're about rocks and minerals and the earth itself, water flow, stuff like that. I was able to get one published that was to do with, it was near wind turbines. But that one was difficult to do. I only wanted to do it because I liked the name. The cache name is This Cache Blows.
That is excellent.
I almost gave up. It was 4 times before I got the answers. I had to add a bunch of stuff that I didn't think about. But I learned something at the same time. It was awesome.
Wow, that is cool.
And I've met that Earth Cache reviewer at Geo Woodstock in Cincinnati, and I gave her a big hug.
Yeah,
thank you for pushing me. It was good.
Well, that's the thing Owen brought up, Jesse, because having a template isn't necessarily a bad thing, because like Owen's saying, the science of geology does not change from cache to cache. I mean,
that's right.
A lot of what is, we know, a lot of what we've learned, even from the lay term from us, is that, he wants to know what the GC is on that.
Yeah, I'll get it for you. Hang on.
So Rachel can, but yeah, I mean, there's, the things we've learned, though, like you said, you could see some similarities.
No, absolutely.
I mean, and I'm thinking back just off the top of my head about and things I've thought about this week as well. Places that I've really enjoyed are
Nine.
don't really have a pattern. I mean, that's the interesting thing about Earthcaches, I think, is that one of Susan's favorite is at the southern tip of Illinois is a confluence, which you probably can't do a confluence anymore. But to see one in person, I think when you explain to somebody what it is, you don't really get the effect unless you actually see it. And that's a good example where you have the Ohio River merging with the Mississippi River. And so it's really good to, go ahead. Yep.
You can just see it.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
69MJ6.
This cache blows.
GC69 MJ6. That's awesome. Cool. But then, the other sort of the other end of it, I guess, in a sense, was we did one in Kilgore, which is not too far from here. It's in East Texas, and we had to go into. And that's the other thing I want to ask both Jesse and Cache Can about. But we had to go into a museum and get information on it was about oil. It was mentioned already, but which was fascinating to learn some things about oil in Kilgore, Texas. If you ever want to know about various parts of the world, but they were one of the first places in the U.S. where they drilled for oil and were successful and all that. So that in Beaumont. So it's kind of famous for that. So I guess can you still do that? Can you still have an earth cache where you have to go into a museum and find information?
Publishing one now, I don't know. We're doing one next week, not this week. Next week when we go south in Kentucky. We're going into a tour of a cave, not the Mammoth Cave. We don't have the time to go into that one, but you have to take the tour. I don't know. We have a reviewer watching us right now, and he might know, but I'm not sure if you can or not.
Do we have an Earthcache reviewer in here, or?
Not an Earthcache reviewer. One of our reviewers is.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
We embrace the reviewer. We love the reviewers.
He's actually going on the trip with us.
Oh, sweet. Wow.
very cool.
We're with you.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hope you guys follow geocaching rules during that trip. So
We had a discussion about that.
I don't want to see him tossing a pill bottle out of the window. That's close enough.
No,
You're a reviewer. You can't do that. That's close enough.
I asked a question. I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't ask that. But yeah, it's all in the up and up. We like to play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Of course.
I guess there's gray areas, but we
have to go back and do a webcam because we didn't phone when we had the picture taken. So
the Mississippi webcam.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the reason for this trip that we're going on, and it's the main target. We did that one in 2016 when we looped around to go going caching in Georgia. We did the webcam. I did the picture. I got the picture, and I came home and I did the number 2 sin of every geocacher. I did not read the cache description, and that was on geocaching.com's list, number 2.
Gary and I would never do that, but I've heard of other people doing that.
Yeah, so I logged the thing, and I thought I'm gonna, maybe I can get away with it. I knew it was going to get deleted. It got deleted, and then I asked the guy, "Do you realize how far we drove?" I don't care.
yeah,
So I said, all right, fine. I'll just have to go back. So
delete.
We'll remember to phone this time.
Yeah.
So we're going through and reading all the cache pages.
We're taking lessons from Jeff.
Perfect. What else about? We're going to get into talking about another aspect here in a minute that I think is fascinating. That I don't know why. I mean, I guess I'm just not. Sometimes I just don't think. And this is a really good example of something you can do with earth caches. But before we get to that, what else is there? Another aspect of that we haven't really, I guess, talked about tonight that really comes up about earth caches that both Jesse and Dave and Karen, is there, outside of the great location, is there something else about them that you think is an attraction? Maybe not necessarily for yourself, but maybe is an attraction that you think is a valid interest for others that maybe don't realize, or maybe that are not experienced with doing earth caches, that maybe you could mention that they're like, oh, I didn't know that.
I just think of learning some things, the difficulty levels too, to make it. There's one, Sean, we did one of he's on the list here. He was watching.
Yeah.
We did one of his caches in Indiana, and it was on different stones making of grave markers.
Oh, okay.
It was cool just to be in the cemetery itself, but then to go further than that, of not only just seeing the dates and the names but the types of stone
the type of erosion and how it's affected,
Right.
on which side of the stone is eroded,
Yep.
and how it's been caused.
Yep.
It's great.
I would say it is. There are some places like near me, Rocky Mountain National Park, they don't typically allow traditional caches, with containers.
Yeah.
So earth caches and virtuals are up there mainly. It does allow for caching in an area that normally wouldn't have physical caches. So
like we experienced in 2012 in Banff and Jasper National Parks, they're not
There's
allowed
too
a
much
physical
snow.
cache.
Yeah, they would go be dragged away by the ice and
Well,
snow.
then they just didn't allow them.
Yeah.
So you had to have
Because it
something else. An earth cache, perfect, virtual.
Yeah, because I was thinking about and I mentioned before the fact that the highest point that I have as far as finding anything is Jesse's Earth Cache in Rocky Mountain National Park, and so and I enjoyed that. Jesse kind of goes, it was nothing. It's like that's an actual cool spot. I mean, in that you're up in the Alpine. I mean, I have to go back and look, but what is it, like 12,000 feet? I think.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Something about 10, between 10. I'll look it up. I'll look it up real quick. Anyway,
now see, that's an example of one that is a really cool location, but it's really easy to answer the questions.
Yeah,
true, but you got to get there. I mean,
right, and it's a drive up, and it is where it is, but the area is beautiful.
Yeah,
so it takes you to a good location, but there's no measuring or anything else. You can figure out the questions right on the spot. I mean, they're not hard to do, but that one has actually been pretty popular. It's also part of a geotour, but
right,
that one's been pretty popular because of the location. Right.
Yeah.
Definitely not because of the questions. The questions are pretty easy on that one. But
right.
But just like with any cache, there's kind of that when you're putting out a cache of any type, you got to balance it somehow. Really neat container, really neat way to find it, really neat way to get there, really neat location. There's something you got to do special about it if you want people to have a good experience. So
well, and that's the thing too, is that's that's not hard to get to, but it makes me think about the fact that there are some that if you're interested, you could really you may have to really hike to get to. I mean, you could do an earth cache that's really difficult to, the old T5, you have a full day, bring your climbing gear kind of earth cache.
There's one close by me that I really want to do, and I haven't been able to do it yet. And it's one in Colorado. We usually don't fudge them out too much here on the terrain. If it's a 5 here, it's generally a 5. So
yeah, if it's a 5 in Colorado, it's a true 5.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
That's for Derek.
When they're going to get the webcam.
6.
Go ahead, put that up again real quick. What? Oh yeah, when you're going to be there. Okay.
Yeah, webcam.
All right.
He's not very far from there. He might be able to meet you. Look at that.
Appreciate that.
Well, Sir Drumalot might come up and see us.
Oh yeah, Sir
Oh,
Drum.
look at that.
Yeah. But it's about 3 or 4 hours for him. It's not close. Well, for us, it's not far because we will be driving 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
Do you have and this may be hard because you guys really like earth caches, but do you have a single favorite that stands out for you of the earth caches you've been to?
Yes.
The Eternal Flame.
Yep.
It's like maybe 3 hours from our house.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about it until we went there with geocaching.
Yeah.
and it is just totally amazing.
The Eternal Flame Earth Cache is southeast of Buffalo, New York. It's not too far away from the Buffalo Bills Stadium in Orchard Park.
Oh, really? Is that close? Okay.
Yeah, it's that close.
Yeah.
It's about 15 minutes away from the Bills Stadium. And I saw a picture of it on a friend of ours cache page, and I'm like, wow, what is that? And I'm like, somehow I found it. And then one day we were going on a tour then that way, and we stopped in and to see it, and it is fascinating. Karen has been there twice.
Yeah, I want to go back another season. I went there kind of late spring, early summer, so the water was flowing quickly. And then the second time I went, it was later in the year, like September, August. So there wasn't as much water.
And that is bizarre because it has like a 4-story waterfall. It's all down shale, and then
But
the
it just trickles
flame is
down.
like a microwave-sized little grotto sticking in the shale, and there are jets of flame coming up. It looks like a barbecue.
Wow.
It's amazing. And when we go up to it, I thought it was, why is there a barbecue lighter there? Because,
It's
Sure.
not.
Very cool.
oh, eternal. But it was lit when we got there.
It's
Yeah.
really amazing because you see these little fire flames and then water's coming down over top.
Yeah.
Right in front. So it's not extinguishing it,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of like fire and then water. Or
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fire and then water. And it's just
That is, one of the most
Oh, yeah.
fascinating.
yeah.
It's in the it's in the 201 book.
It's in
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Shameless
say, too
plug.
bad we don't have a book with a list of like the most favorited Earth caches around.
There you go.
What do you know? Number 1 is the Eternal Flame.
I better
Yeah.
start researching
And there's
that.
so much shale, and the rock formations there are just beautiful, and different colors of rocks.
Yeah, amazing that you can whoever. I mean, obviously somebody went in there and recognized that there was a gas vent, and they're like, oh, and of course somebody was brave enough, stupid enough. I don't know what you want to say. It's like, let's light this thing, and
Yeah, it's methane gas leaking up through the shale.
yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that
And the
that
park that it's in is actually called the Eternal Flame Park.
that's perfect. Yeah, because it's
So how big of a percentage of geocaching is Earth caches for you guys?
Or maybe what 200 around
Oh,
the 200
well, we've done
mark.
about 350, but
that's
yeah.
incredible.
about that, about 350.
They're always on our list.
We're doing several on our trip south. 2 of them specifically because of the ratings that they have, because we have never done one. That's part of our discussion that we'll have.
Yeah, the DT. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that list, Gary? Do you have the top few of the Earth caches? You still have that book with you?
Oh, yeah. They're not rated. Oh, you mean just what the top ones are?
My
Yeah.
copy.
Tried to go down that list, and have you tried to go after like the top favorite Earth caches around, or do you just pick ones that you want to go after, or how do you kind of?
I have them right now. I have a list of Earth caches to go to around the world, mostly in the U.S. and Canada. But it's based on trying to complete a complete fizzy based exclusively on Earth caches, and we're currently up to 69 of 81.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty close.
Yeah, that's what our target is now. We could get it within 3 years if we really pushed it, and we had the ability to travel even more. We could get it within 2 years.
So it's not something you can just go down to your local park and finish.
I know. We're lucky with Cache the Line. Jeff has put out an Earth cache. It is a 1.5, I think, and it is the only one of that rating in North America. So
wow,
for us that we're that close. We're only an hour and a half away. We haven't done it yet. We just have to pick a day that we can go, and then we're going to probably do an episode on that. It's nothing like, it's not a huge mountain or anything like that. It's just a matter of taking a lot of measurements and doing that. I've talked to him about it. It's on our to-do list. We have on our list for the up to the 81. I think there are 5 that are within 3 hours of home. We just haven't got to them yet. There are several that we're going to be doing when we go to Geo Woodstock or the Seattle event. We're going down to Oregon. There's 2 that we need down there near the original stash.
Plus the state of Oregon.
Yeah. Plus, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
That is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're really close. I mean, like you said, that is fascinating to do.
So you need a 1.5 and a 5.1. Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those must be weird to find.
Yeah, they're not very. I gave Gary also a big grid, and it shows you.
Yeah.
When you get down to the 4s, you start getting to some really weird. So I created a grid, a complete grid of all the Earth caches in the world. There are 33,200 some Earth caches in the world.
I got that, Dave. I'm pulling it up right now so you can look at it.
1515 obviously is the most common. There's 4,596 of those, but you can see when you get down into the bottom numbers, there are so very, very few. So when you see, I didn't do it in the top corner, but down lower, you can see there are 3 numbers. The first number is the number that are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The second number is the number that are in the United States, and the third number is the number that are in Canada. So when we look up an Earth cache, and then we're going to film finding that Earth cache, and we're not going to give you all the answers, but we're going to show you the really cool spot that it's at. But we're also going to mention, hey, did you realize there are only 45 of these in the entire world?
Right.
Reading. And then there are only 7 of these in the US, and we're at one of them. And then, or there might be only 2 in Canada.
Okay.
So try to find them,
So do you know which one is going to be your final one?
No, not yet. One of the places we have to go is San Francisco.
Okay.
Probably
there yet.
there's about a handful around San Francisco that I mean, they're all over the world. I could easily go to Europe, but we pretty much looked at where could I go fairly easily.
Right.
Where does Spirit Airlines fly, or Delta?
Sure.
That way. Yeah. So we can fly out of Detroit and do it fairly. So San Francisco's on our list anyway. A place to go we've never been, but I don't know what our last Earth cache is going to be. And then what do we do when we get there, when it's the last one?
Well, you have a big party is what you do.
But Liz Downey, a couple weeks ago, we had the discussion when we went to that Earth cache is you start doubling it, because we had, okay, I'll bring that back up again. I don't have it on.
Anybody done that before?
There is a geocacher by the name. This one is from Germany. His name. Can I mention his name?
Of course, he's from Germany.
I'm sure.
Everything.
Kuschelchen. I don't know how. It's Kuschelchen. He's from Germany. He has 80. He's the only one that we found. He actually had. Well, when Liz Downey, he found it and he shared it with us. He actually had a full grid. And then I said, what was the name of that guy that had the full grid? Because I only found this guy. He's only got 80. And he did have a full grid, but one of them changed.
Oh, no.
That is for another show, because I've not had enough whiskey for tonight. That makes me so angry.
And Liz Downey, he actually, because of he found which one he was missing. And then he knows there's only so many of those in the world. He was able to find which one changed. And the reason that person changed it was probably rated too high to begin with. And it wasn't changed that much, but just enough to knock that person out from having a full grid. And that's why we're looking now. You can see all the ones that we have to try to get 2 of everything,
just in
case one changes.
Just in case.
See, I just have to say,
the
proper thing in that situation would have been to archive that cache and republish if it's going to be that different.
Yes.
Not to change somebody's grid. Oh my gosh.
But that CO might not have realized that. And I've contacted several COs when we started doing videos on them. And then I've contacted them, hey, we're doing a video. We're not going to share the answers, but this is what we're doing. And did you know that this is one of only 11 in North America? Like, wow, really? So you don't want me to change the rating? No. But they had no idea.
Right, because if you'd archived it, right, that would have preserved his grid.
Yes.
That's smart. That's good. I mean, if it's something significant, that's good for people to remember. Is Well, you shouldn't change them anyway. But if it's a generic cache, I don't.
No, you shouldn't change it. Once it's published,
It
was
should be
published
locked,
like
right?
that, don't change it unless somebody hasn't found it. Then I would that one caveat, but
Yeah, if nobody's found it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I agree with you. They should be just lock it. That way people can always go back and redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you guys, and even Jesse might be able to answer this as well, because I know what Jesse will say, but I wonder what you guys are saying. Have you ever taken the time to really not just look at, but try to plan out trying to get an FTF on an Earth cache that's not been found yet? Obviously,
There's one on our list for our trip.
Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah. I
There's
found
some
one,
that haven't been found yet because
Yeah.
they're harder to get to. So there's a
Okay.
few that are still available.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we're gonna go for that.
you guys will do some serious hiking, but Karen, what do you think? Is there a point where you're like, this is too much. We're not doing this.
Well, we haven't done mountain climbing gear, so
She's healthier than I am. She has more energy.
It's more the other way around. Dave's
Yeah.
like,
Oh God, do we have to go?
I'm out.
we haven't done like vertical climbs or anything like that. Which basically, if you can hike there, we'll go.
Okay. No repelling.
Canoe or by boat.
I remember last week on your show,
Yeah.
Geo Jangi mentioned there were some earth caches in Montana
Yeah.
that have not been found.
Yes.
I looked them up after she said that, and I was just starting to look at Project GC, different caches that have not been found, and I thought, oh yeah, I guess you could look up earth caches. Yeah, 2012. There are 3 of them on can't remember the river. Anyway, it's in Montana,
Right.
and I looked up a place that you can go canoeing for the week, and so I registered for their newsletter, and it's on our to-do list as a possibility of going. And I mean, if they might be found by then, oh fine, then they're found, but it would be something that I would look for.
Right.
yeah,
Cool.
there's a couple I think in Utah west of me that have never been found and that have been out for several years. Earth caches.
Oh,
And I know it's pretty extreme terrain, so you can only go part of the year. And I believe it involves some kayaking as well. So, and I think if I remember right, there's a couple logs on there where people tried and could not get close enough to get whatever the answer was. I think it's some kind of fossil they're looking for, something like that. But you kind of have to kayak into it and backpack, and it's still never been found. So I think
Wow.
you're talking about several miles worth of trekking with no roads, but which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're looking at that kind of thing now. It's like, upping the game a little bit more and doing a little bit more adventure.
We really haven't done that
Right.
for a long time.
I have to retire, so
There you go.
Jeff mentioned about it's tighter to claim whoever sends answers first. Correct answers probably too, Jeff. Who sends correct answers first technically is it. A physical cache is by first signature, obviously. So
Right.
That's a little bit different, but I didn't know that. Lots of ECs publishing in Oklahoma. I gotta go. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
too
we
far.
wonder why that is. Just somebody publishing a bunch of them, or
Yeah, I don't know. Rachel, can you let us know what the
I don't think we'll be able to sneak across the border for that.
no.
sneak across to get those? It's a little far for you to get to that far down.
Now,
So.
there is one advantage of earth caches that we kind of haven't mentioned yet, and that's the vacation rule doesn't apply. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
if you like with other caches, you have to be able to maintain them. Earth caches specifically talk about that. If you find a location while you're on vacation somewhere and you can do it, and you've been there within the last 6 months, I think is the current rule.
Yep.
They're fine with you publishing that. Because geology generally doesn't change that fast.
No,
So
can, but
That is if there's
not
a
usually.
sign that has some information on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the sign is gone.
yeah, and I think they generally discourage that anyway right now. Like they don't want you to just drive up and answer a sign, right? They want you to look at the environment and get observations. So, if it's a mountain and you're getting some details, that shouldn't change that fast. Although it could. So, landscapes do change if there's floods and fires and everything else. But so that is one thing I'll say that's very positive about earth caches is you can put them in all kinds of places when you travel. So
Yeah.
And snow, because we went to do an earth cache and we couldn't see it because there was too much snow.
yeah,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about. You're right. I think the other thing. Yeah, oh yeah, Jeff's got one, and in
yeah.
Iceland. That's very cool. Yeah, I guess the other thing too that could potentially become a problem where you might have to archive it is if the location was public and then all of a sudden you no longer can get to it because
Yeah.
it's been
Right.
somebody put a fence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it becomes a trespassing issue. I've had that with traditionals where I had to archive it was in the public and then somebody bought it, stuck a fence along it. It's like, okay, well, nobody can get to it now, so we gotta let that one go. So
Yeah, but you know what? You got it out there for a while, and at least you got to do it. So somebody got to experience it for a little while.
yeah, yeah, cash line not biggest. What's the word?
Well,
Neutral.
Neutral.
Make it seasonally neutral is what he means. Yeah, can't always do that. I mean, I can understand the need or the want to do that.
Well, out here, there are certain earth caches and virtuals that you just can't get to for part of the year because they close like part of the park. Like in Rocky Mountain National Park, right next to me, they close some of those roads during the winter, and it's 12 foot of snow on it. You literally can't get there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to get there. So, even though the earth cache feature is there, you just can't physically get to part of that for months of the year. So that's kind of a seasonal type cache, but it's allowed. It's fine. It's nature doing it, right? So still okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you can contact them. David, Karen, what's the best way for Geodandrew that you would like him or anyone else to contact you?
They could go to our Facebook page, which is Caching Canada. That's the address for it, and you can just send a message to that. Or if they know me, Dave Westhouse, there you go. You can look me up on Facebook and send me a message.
Yeah, we really haven't talked. We've been talking to Earth Caches all night. We need to talk about your channel some. And then we do have a giveaway tonight. I'm going to ask a question here in a few minutes, and we're going to give away 3 of Cache Canada's trackables tonight. Here, there they are.
Don't move it. I can't see it.
There.
Sweet. Karen's like,
There you go.
There.
There.
Yeah, that one.
there we go. Yes. So stay tuned for that question, and we're going to have you send in, and this is also going to be for Holy Doodle. Yeah, he's got the shirt. I'll have to ask you about that too, but this will be open to people tonight. The answer, Coon Bud, you're correct. The answer is Canada. Very good. You are a winner. No. We'll ask.
Canada is not just about Canada. It's just
I'm gonna ask a question. If you'll send your answer, we won't do it right now, but we'll do before the end of the show. We'll have you send an answer to geocachetalk@gmail.com, and then we'll pick 3 people randomly, and I'll get with Dave and Karen, and they'll send you a trackable. So that's gonna be really cool. So dang, so close. Yeah, good job, buddy. So let's talk for a moment about the channel. But yeah, Holy Doodle, I should know this, but
where did Holy Doodle come from?
Yeah, where did it come from?
One of our very first outings for doing our videos, we were with Cache the Line and a couple of other friends, and we were going down to the Headless Horseman. What was the name?
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, in New York. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. There was the cache. It was an old one from the year 2000, I think, and it was being archived.
Oh, okay.
So we stopped at one spot, and I was developing the personality of what we use online, trying to tell jokes and do goofy little things. And I had the camera down. I was laying on the ground, and there was a tombstone, and it had all these people with different names on it, and it was old. And then it said, Dorothy, it was 1832 but there was no death date printed on there. I thought, wow, she's really old. And normally, I mean, I work at an auto factory, so I have colorful language. And
Yeah.
as soon as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, holy, and I'm like, I can't see it. And doodle just popped out of my mouth. I thought I got to keep this family friendly and I don't want to swear.
Right.
So that's it and then the whole trip, I was always holy doodle and everybody else was teasing me, holy doodle. And it just
Holy doodle. Yeah, I love that.
Could have been a lot worse.
yeah, it could have been something. I don't know. And there's a Holy Doodle Ranch in BC. I didn't realize, but
Oh, is it really? Wow.
yeah, somebody looked it up. Yeah, and there's actually a Cache Canada, a place called Cache Canada in Quebec.
Okay.
I'd love to go there, but I don't know if I can drive direct. It's pretty remote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Might have to fly.
Yeah.
There is near Gary. There's Cache, Oklahoma, right?
There is Cache, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we did a Cache Lake in Algonquin Park.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
there's 3 happy campers. We're going to see
Yeah.
them. Oh, right there. We're gonna
Yay.
see them on the 29th of February.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. One of the campers in the picture there.
Yeah. They're putting on an event for us at a brewery. So,
Oh, well, perfect.
yeah,
You can't beat that.
can't beat that. Beer and
but
cache.
Yeah, but their comment there about that was a great episode. What do any of because you've done a lot of cool episodes and there's Coda. Is there a couple that stick out that you got to film Earthcache wise as far as vlog that come to mind?
Filming Earth caches. The one, well, that was a virtual though. There was the one that we just did on Earth waterfalls, but that was a series of virtual. Okay. As a one virtual, you had to do a bunch, so that wasn't Earth caching. The one that we just did with Liz Downey on the Credit River, I thought was really nice. That with the snow that was coming down at the time, we left home and there was no snow at all, and that one, just the music and the way it came together, I thought was really good. And just filming, like doing the B-roll and then just trying not to talk so much about it.
Sure.
Just bringing you along with us to get a feeling of where we're there. So,
that's something I've mentioned before, and the reason that there's now a lot of people that vlog with a V, and something I've always mentioned is really 2 things. One is that you do feel like you're along with the vlogger on the trip. Yeah. You guys do an incredible job. Cache the Line. I won't mention all of them, but Katie does a great job. Obviously, Joshua. Yeah, but the other part is I think there's the combination though of that and the people doing the vlogging. I mean, if to me it's and the 2 of you together is just wonderful. I mean, it's one of those things. 3 Happy Campers is another good example when they're interacting with one another, but also showing you things for the vlog. It's just fun to hear the genuine interaction between you. And you do 1 minute Wednesdays.
Yep.
Start the clock. Yeah. And
we finally got it right.
Yes, you do great. But the thing about it is that and then we talked about it before the show, and I had to mention it was this week's. Oh, cool!
That's pretty good there. Yeah,
48 of 81. That's pretty good. And I think you put in the notes, Dave. Jesse's at 63. Is that right?
No, Jesse's not at 63.
Is it not 63?
No, they're at 69. I'm at like 23.
You're at 23 still. All right, that's pretty good. I think. I'm probably at like 6. So
mine's totally by accident too, because I've never even thought about
doing it.
Busy for. I don't even have 100 Earth caches, so I'm nowhere close. So.
Yeah, but still, you got 23 different ones. That's cool.
On Project GC, you can get the top finders, right? So you can have a whole list of. So I just took the people that were from the United States, show me the top finders, and they had like in the tens of thousands of caches, and I went through the top 30. I put them through the checker, and not one of them has as many Earth caches, even close to what we do.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I was amazed at that.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just to finish the quick thought though is that you guys on Wednesdays do the 1 Minute Wednesdays, and something everybody needs to go out and we'll mention and talk about or give the information about the channel for you guys for Cache Canada. But again, the interaction, and I laughed so hard. I tell you, I watched it the other day, and Karen's trying to open the lock to this bird. It's like a birdhouse, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And Dave is not. You're not giving her. You're pestering.
No room.
He's being annoying.
Are you
He
done?
was. But what's funny about it was that you're not. You obviously cannot. You can dish it out as well, but you can take it.
Tune in next coming Wednesday.
Yeah, I heard this coming Wednesday we get the reversal.
Yeah.
Of fortunes there, but yeah, it was funny because you were bugging her, and she'd look up at you and be like, "I'm not going to open this lock any quicker by you bugging me."
No.
Yeah, give me the look.
So it was great, but anyway,
That's what makes those videos so much fun. It feels like you're there with you guys. Of all and there's a few different vloggers out there, and obviously we've had several on the show, and to me, that's what makes it engaging is when you feel like you're there with them. Like it's not staged. I mean, all of them have to be staged. We've all videoed, right? You have to stage a little bit, but it's the fun stuff that you're talking about that just sounds like you're right along with you when you're going on the adventure right along with you. So,
Well, part of it's our sense of humor. We like punny things. So.
Yeah. Dad jokes, as Rick Fleifer, when he would say, Komikino and the kid.
yes,
we could get together because we can torture his daughter together.
right,
Our dad
exactly.
jokes.
dad jokes are the best. Come on.
Yeah.
She can roll her eyes. Oh.
All right. So as we start to wrap up tonight, I guess let's kind of go around the room and let's kind of talk a little bit about final thoughts on Earthcaches in general, whatever route you want to take. So I'll let everybody give a shot at it.
I'll cue them up.
Okay.
So, I joke around a lot about Earthcaches, but obviously, I also support every cache type and every cache style out there because there's a little bit of something for everybody in the game. That's what's so cool about it. Earthcaches are not my favorite part of it, but there are some really good Earthcaches. And, kind of what y'all talked about tonight with the fizzy, that's kind of got me a little excited. I think I might have to go and
Take a look.
I'm gonna have to go investigate a little bit and see what I have around me, and especially since I'm so far down I've only got like 23, right?
There you go. There's a challenge right there.
And I'm guessing, well, I know that there couldn't probably be any challenge out there for doing the full fizzy because there's not enough people qualified for it.
Yeah, I don't be able to do it.
It can be an unofficial one. We'll post it on our website, Geocache Talk. And we'll put a list of people. You can be the first one. That other guy can be the second one, whatever. Whoever can do it, we'll put a list of people up there and challenge people for it.
We just inspired somebody from San Francisco that was watching our channel. And he
cool.
said in the comments that, hey, I looked at mine and he wasn't doing too bad. He had a pretty good rating. And there's a lot of Earthcaches around San Francisco that will really help him get there. And we've also encouraged Liz Downey. He's actually ahead of us with 75. He started concentrating now on Earthcaches. And Vince Rowe, that's one of the things he's now doing because of what we started doing. So I think
it's a race to the first one to get it.
Yeah, it's like now we got to go.
We'll throw this out right now and say that the first one to get it, we'll bring them back on the show and celebrate and taunt all the other merciless.
There you go.
So
I think Vince has a leg up on us, but you never know. We could get there.
You never know. So maybe we could do like I know this is going to shock people coming out of my mouth, but maybe on our website we could put like a leaderboard of the top 10.
What?
For
Leaderboard?
I know. I'm going to slap myself later for it, but because I just think that's a really neat way to make Earthcaches fun. However, I've got to ask one question I didn't get to ask earlier.
Ooh, leaderboard challenge. Oh, check out the coins
Pull it back a bit.
leaderboard challenge.
Woo, nice.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
There it is. Leaderboard challenge.
That's
Hand
neat.
has disappeared.
Your background is bleeding. In
I know how cool.
Yeah, it shows a little hole in your head.
I can't cover up the background. Yeah, it's
It's
no matter
green.
how hard I try, it's going through my hand. That's cool. Okay,
That's
sorry.
funny.
I
Now,
didn't
so
cover up. So yeah, that's
the
a cool
question
idea.
I do have to ask, which I didn't get to ask earlier, you've got some of those higher DT ones, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that those were truly rated properly,
Oh, that's
or
good.
some of them inflated?
Some of them were.
Fudge a little bit sometimes.
There's somebody that's putting out caches that's trying to increase, and I'm like, don't do that. Do the Earth cache with the rating that it should be at, not, hey, because there's only 5 of these, I'm going to give you one. No, don't do that. Like we did one. We went to Nevada, and we went 12 kilometers down a dirt rock road, and then we hiked across the desert to these arches. We just did an episode of that in November. There was the same rating 2 hours from us, but it was like a park and grab.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to do
Right.
the adventure, the hike and that.
Well, part of it with the Earth cache is when you have something more difficult like that, you get to go out and experience whatever nature is there. Like we had walked in the desert before, and it was just an amazing experience. It's so different than walking through the forest.
That's one of the reasons why we did it, because we wanted that wow factor.
You don't get that experience unless you go and do it.
Yeah. And I did want to have a shout out to somebody that we cached with. His name is Carney Gruel. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He is one of the leaders in fizzy loops. He's up 180 something. He started after Liz Downey, and he went with it from there. Yeah. He's the reason that I looked at an Earth cache fizzy. It was like, hey, what if I can't get there with fizzies. I only have 20 fizzies, normal, regular fizzies. But I started looking at, I like Earth caches and I like the different ratings. So it was because of him doing what he did, inspired me to look in, and because he has all kinds of challenges. You can have a fizzy for multis, a fizzy for challenges, and a fizzy for this, a fizzy for that. You can actually do a fizzy. I researched this, a fizzy for virtuals.
Mm-hmm.
There are enough virtuals. There are enough you could fill every 81 squares, but boy, would it be hard.
Yeah, there's a challenge I'm working on in my state that is a fizzy virtual, but it's for all the combinations that are in Colorado, which is most of them, but not all of them. But that's going to be a hard one.
Rachel, I guess we're keeping on. We're going to keep going. I guess people want a little more. So she's asking about, can you talk about high difficulty ECs? Seems like it would be hard to make one with a high difficulty versus high terrain.
High terrain is pretty easy to do.
High terrain is obvious.
Top of a mountain, and you have to rappel. But the difficulty is a question I've always had too, because the Earth cache rules say that you're not supposed to have extensive geology background to do it.
Right.
So how do you make it so difficult?
Some of it's just you got to do a lot of math. It's like what's the volume of this lake, and then they give you some information, and so you've got to do the math formula and how much water is in this area. It's like, oh geez, yeah. And that's quite difficult to do.
There's a website for that.
Right. You can Google it somehow, right?
Yeah, you can Google almost anything.
So it's the questions that are how not just that they're intense in geology. It's that there's lots of math or there are more questions too. It's not just 2 questions. So you have maybe 8, but they're pretty not in depth. You don't have to have a geology background to do them. It's just you've got to be. You have to have their observation has to be there. Because a lot of times
really got to look.
They'll give you the information. It's just, okay, you have to compare A, B, C, and D. And it's like, okay, well, which one do you think is this? And you have to then figure it out what you think is
like the 2. I mean, I just looked them up, but I'd have to look up the 2 that we're going for on this trip are high DTs. They're both high DTs. And Liz Downey, he's going after them after we do, and he wants to know what they're like. So we'll let you know. They're not. It doesn't look that when one's a hike, it might be a half an hour to get to it, but it's all on rocks, and you got to climb over and different things like that. But
interesting, because like you're saying, Karen, it makes sense that you could make sure that the the person who's doing the Earth cache has really observed a lot. I mean, that's the way, I guess, to make the difficulty higher, is that they just can't walk up and go, oh, it's mostly brown. There you go. There's your answer. It's like, no.
So it's what shade of brown and what size is the crustacean in there, and so there's little
Right.
variances you have to check out for.
Right. So there's that give and take between, like you said, where you have to get, the proper difficulty level, like you said, without becoming,
more
having to get a geology degree. So that's cool. So,
I find a lot of the
Oh.
earth caches, they spell out everything for you. They'll tell you the terms, so you just have to read through it, and then you have to, like you said, observe and
Right.
which one is it. And sometimes that's not easy.
everybody's commenting on the good puppy dog is
Yeah.
Blake.
He's like, I want to be there too.
He's like, he wants attention. We're like, okay, hold on, buddy.
Neil Moore is like, Blake.
Yeah,
I think that's Neil Moore. It could be.
It
I'm
is.
not sure. I think that's Neil.
Yeah, that's Neil.
I don't think that's the
Our buddy Bobby. Bob Billy.
It's not the alter ego.
I don't think it's Bob Billy. He has his own account. So, all right. So, I guess Jesse, you want to? Is that your?
I think
wrap up?
the most inspiring thing that y'all said is look at Earth cache. Look at them in a different way. And there's more stuff to do with Earth caches than just finding 10, 15, 20, 250, whatever. There's a wide variety of them out there, and that could really inspire people, I guess, with the fizzy, because obviously there's nobody currently that's done it, although we may be corrected right after the show. Who knows, right? Somebody will get mad and send in some hate mail to us, but if there is, we just don't know about it. But anytime somebody's going for it, with as many people playing the game and almost 20 years into the game now, anytime you find something that somebody hasn't done, that's an impressive aspect of the game. So, kudos for that, and kudos for inspiring people. Even me, if you can inspire me to want to go find some some Earth caches,
That's something.
yeah, that's something, because
That's big.
yeah, they're not my favorite type, they do take you to some good places. So I definitely have to agree with you on that one.
Well, the other reason we started doing them was to get more different icons within a single day. So we would try like an 8 icon day, and that was an easy way to get one.
Yes.
Yeah, this one cache that we're after is it's in Alabama. It's a 4.5, 3.5. It's called Natural Bridge in the Forest, and it's a part of it is trying to figure out like the DT or the terrain, but it's trying to figure out how to get under the arch. So
interesting.
The coordinates that the CO gives you is the kind of the observation point above, but you've got to figure out how to get below. So I don't know how to do that yet. But there are 10 questions that you have to answer plus the photo, and that's optional.
Okay. Well, very cool.
Questions.
Yeah.
So I guess let's wrap up. Let's give you guys a chance to kind of coalesce some last minute thoughts on Earth caches, and then I'll mention a few things for the upcoming weeks, and we'll wrap up. So what's the last thing I guess might want to mention to people tonight about Earth caches?
It just don't hate them because of the questions that you have to answer. Look at them as just another avenue, another place you can build your numbers. You might have like thousands of traditionals, but you only have 50 Earth caches. Build the number up. Go for 75, then make it 100. Right. Go from there.
Cool.
So
yeah, it also helps when there are challenges out there to have, with each icon, have at least 100 in different icons. That's one of Karnic rules.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And I think my last thought is to keep if you're not a fan, I guess the thing is just keep looking. You might find some that like Susan loves them, so I'm kind of in the same boat as Jesse's. Like, Earth caches, but she's like, when I plan a trip with her, she's like, okay, well, how many Earth caches are we doing? It's like, I have 0 on the list. She's like, no, you need to put Earthcaches on that list.
Yeah.
And sure enough, by doing that, though, we have found some places that, like the Confluence. I mean, I was just, I was trying to find, there was stuff there, but there was an Earthcache there, and standing there and watching that is just one of those things that it's fascinating because you just don't think about it until you've been to one where you see a confluence of two rivers, two major rivers, So
Mhm.
there's things. The Eternal Flame is obviously the be all end all of Earthcaches. I mean, oh my gosh, you got a flame. I mean, with water. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
this, that's
One other one that we did that's on the top of our list is, and our son to this day is 29. I think when we went, he might have been 15 or something. It was in Alberta, and it was called the Plain of Six Glaciers.
okay.
And it was behind Lake Louise. Normally, most people go to Lake Louise, they step out, they look at the lake, they take a picture, and they move on.
Right.
Well, when you had to hike 8.5 kilometers down the trail behind the lake up into the mountain. It wasn't hard. It was, it was just long, and you had an elevation and increase, and then you get to the signage, and then you answered the questions, and we saw the glacier actually calved. A piece of it fell off.
Right.
But
At the top.
one of the things that I found when I was researching that is there was a tea house up there.
Yeah.
So I
full
got
tea house,
I got brownie points because I'm like, well, how can I get her out there? I mean, just taking her home, but we can go for tea.
And they had everything there, sandwiches and pies and really good tea.
Hey, now you're talking.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
The Earthcache was right there, and then we went and had tea and pie. It was awesome.
Sweet. It's perfect.
Little chalet.
And our son to this day is one of his most favorite day outings on any trip we've ever done is that right there.
Right.
That
awesome. Yeah, you had me at pie. All right.
I was fresh, and it was awesome. It was amazing.
Really good.
And it's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
But it's busy because all these people climb the mountain and eat the pie.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's
incredible. I'm kind of happy and disappointed at the same time. I'm at 97, and I thought I only had to find 3 more Earthcaches because I was going to do 100 and quit forever. But now it looks like I have 58 more to find. Yeah. So, because I have to fill out my whole fizzy now. So now you got me back on it again. I thought I was done. I thought I was 3 away from finishing. But
no.
Now I've been challenged. There's something else to do. So I got to add it in there too.
When you go someplace, just one, and then it'll just add up.
When we do a road trip, the first thing is there a webcam? And then the second thing is what Earthcaches do we need? And then what are the high favorites, the high DTs, the oldest cache, they just keep building the list. So, but Earthcaches are always there.
Yeah, incredible. Coming up this Wednesday, and this is just hot off the press right here, so I'm going to show you guys. It's not going to look exactly correct because Jesse hasn't done his magic on it, but this Wednesday is the second episode of Geocache Talk Presents. Ooh, looks nice, doesn't it? Thank you, Derek. That's Baker Six Clan.
See the green.
Put that together for us. So that's Wednesday. So that will publish. That's a audio only podcast. That's one of our 4 podcasts that we do now. Mm-hmm. We have 2 that are live, 2 that are audio. Geocaching with Kids came out last week. This week, Geocache Talk Presents, and then we will have Gadget Talk will be coming up here in on February 25th.
Yep.
Next week though, so Wednesday 2/19, that will be Geocache Talk Presents episode 2. I'll surprise everybody when we'll keep it a secret who we have on for that, but and then next Sunday, Brian Roth will be with us, talk about geocaching 2020, and we'll pick his brain on how things are going at HQ and what we can kind of look forward to this year, going into the various things we're doing. what's the question time?
Oh,
What we
for
doing?
the trackable.
That's for the giveaway that we totally forgot about.
Oh yes, thank you. The giveaway, yeah.
You're gonna make people mad.
I will. You bet. Like, what? He said there was a giveaway and we didn't do a giveaway. Yeah. So here's the giveaway. Here's the question. We've talked about several Earth caches tonight. And of course, the one that really does stand out is the answer to the question. So send us to geocachetalk@gmail.com. The answer to, I need the name of that Earth cache, and I need the GC. I gotta have both GC number and the Earth cache to be in the drawing for a trackable, a holy doodle trackable. Well,
That's right.
Cache Canada trackable. So excellent.
Email it in. There's no point to put it in the chat room right now, other than telling everybody the answer. So
Yeah.
email that in.
Don't put it in the chat room. We're not gonna do any good. You gotta email it to me.
We're going to do another video, and we're going to go there because we have never done it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Incredible. Yeah, really looking forward to someday making it to that one. But yeah, well, thank you two so much. It's so great to have you guys on and to talk Earth Cache and your trip.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I didn't think there's any way you were going to inspire me at all tonight, even though I like both of you personally. But I didn't think this subject, but you did it, and I don't know if I'm happy or mad about it. So
All right, that's awesome. I like it. That's cool. I've been inspiring so many people this month. It's cool.
there you
You
go.
are.
Keep caching.
Well, we look forward to seeing things as you go along and the trip, and that'll be neat. Looking forward to the adventures from you two. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you very much.
When
Have a
Folks,
you
we
nice-
hope you
webcams, let us know.
What are you
When
say?
you're webcams, let us know.
Yeah.
gotta
and-
do our pruning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and obviously check out your YouTube channel, Cache Canada.
Cache Canada.
Cache Canada, and yeah, it's fabulous. Go check it out on all the social medias. Connect with these two people. They're wonderful. We've had great fun together, and look forward to get to see you again.
Thank you guys, and thank everybody
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you
and
so
chatting. And it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful. So thank you so much. So, all right, we are out.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
All right.